Hello, I'm Aurelia and we're going to do a tutorial called Starfall Symphony, and this is for beginners. This whole process took me about 26 minutes in total, and we began with an 8x8 canvas panel. You can use paper, canvas, doesn't matter. And generally, I like to use Basics Liquitex. This is a beginner class product. You're going to need a paper towel and, of course, a palette or paper plate, and, of course, a large cup of water, 1/3 full. We're going to be using a large flat brush, one medium flat brush, one medium round brush, and of course a small round brush for details. We will be using titanium white, ivory black, phthalo blue, light blue, and violet. Also, if you're having trouble, acrylic painting can be difficult. You must do your painting fast. So this is Liquitex, also same brand, professional Slow-Dri blending medium. Now, you can get this little thing in the painting section of any craft store, and you add it to your paint. It will keep it wet longer so you can spend more time actually painting if you're finding you have trouble. This is what the bottle looks like, and of course it comes as 4 US fluid ounces. If necessary, you can find all brush and paint descriptions below in case you need any additional information. We're going to begin with the Ivory Black and the big flat brush. Dip it into your paint, put it on the canvas, and start from either bottom or top, doesn't really matter, but I would recommend that it be the top. For this Starfall piece, you will notice that we will be using a lot of paint. The paint doesn't tend to cover right away. You have to use multiple layers. And when it finally does cover for the most part, you're going to just use your brush, swish it back and forth in long brush strokes, and you're going to add some blue at the bottom. You're going to move that blue, swish, swish up into the black and back down into the blue. The more you use your brush to move back and forth into the paint, the more it's going to blend. Now we're going to take purple, do the exact same thing, add purple to the bottom of the blue, and move it up into. Sometimes I'll go back, take some blue, and put it down into the purple. It doesn't really matter. It's just a back and forth process. That is part of painting. Remember, this is paint, not a tattoo, so don't panic if you make a mistake. If it's something you don't like, you can always go back and change it. You will, of course, get paint on your hands. That's unavoidable. And we'll continue on using the light blue at the bottom of the painting. And be sure to paint your sides if you are using a canvas. We're going to stop and let it dry, and here is where I'm going to finally wash my brush. This is how you are to properly wash your brushes. Take your cup, put your paintbrush all the way to the bottom so the bristles are touching the bottom, and swish your brush back and forth like such. Now, the only way we're going to be able to tell if the brush is actually clean is if we push the brush along the side of the cup and we watch the water flow out. If it is clear, then it's clean. If it's coming out colorful, it's still dirty. Keep swishing. And you can tell by taking your paper towel and patting the brush really gently to dry it. There's no color, it is clean. We can continue. Next is the dry break. So you can take a fan, if necessary, fan your piece. You can also use a blow dryer. Now to continue, this is our second layer for the background. You're going to notice, especially with purple, that by the time I come back with another layer, it is starting to cover a lot better and the colors are changing and getting darker. So this is personal preference. This is however you want. If you like the way it is, don't worry about it. Otherwise, get some more color, put it on that canvas. Just keep moving your brush back and forth from left to right and keep adding those colors. You can, of course, mix your colors. Sometimes you just aren't going to find what you want. when you mix it on the canvas. So, like me, you can mix it on your palette to try and find the correct color that you would like. And if you just don't care, it doesn't matter either way. This is your painting. You can do whatever you want with it. Going to take our round brush, go ahead and wash out that large or medium brush, whichever you're using. It really doesn't matter, the preference is yours, but we're going to dab our round brush into any color, whatever you prefer. Here I am using white, and you can tell that my painting is shiny, so it's still wet, and I'm just dabbing, dab, 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 dab with this one brush, mixing and letting my colors fade. You can use the light colors, you can use the dark colors, and you can put it anywhere on your canvas. Just pick a spot and go for it. Just remember, the more you work a spot, the more it's going to blend. So if you want those hard lines or hard dabs, keep it there, don't touch it. But if you want to blend it, keep working it. Just dab, 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 dab. And of course, choose some of the other colors. Don't just use one color. Make sure that you're going through your entire palette range to try and mix the colors together, again, while they are still wet. You can tell from my mixing that I added some purple, and now at the very end here, I'm going back with some white just to kind of give it a little more detail. I'm going to take my medium flat brush and dip it into the light blue and streak across my canvas. Now these lines don't have to be perfect, be very gentle, and you can always go back and fix them up if they're too skinny, too fat, whatever happens. I made a little mistake here, and you see how I separated my little Starfall into two pieces. I also go ahead and take white onto my brush without rinsing it or anything and just start to add the light colors. It's time to take the small round brush. This is our detail brush. Now you can go back and tidy up, put the white bits right in the front where your stars are falling, and it doesn't necessarily have to be white. You guys can use whatever color you prefer. For this particular painting, I simply just did the white to try and make it look interesting. I really wanted those stars to shine through that burning of the atmosphere, right? I really wanted it to look like what it was supposed to. And of course, you can take other colors as well. It doesn't necessarily have to be the light blue. Again, this is all personal preference. But what I did do is go back and add a little cross on one of them to kind of make it seem like it's shiny. There's a lot of different things you could do in this finalizing stage. So again, you can choose colors, you can add them in, you can fix anything if you don't like it. This is, again, paint, not a tattoo. It's not permanent. You can just paint over it some more. This is one of the finer things of being an artist. Nobody really sees your mistakes because you hide your mistakes. You just keep painting until the mistakes are gone. There really are no mistakes in painting, actually. Now, deciding that I needed some more detail, I came in with my bigger brush and made those stars pop by making them much bigger. So you can always change your mind about certain things as you go along. That's simply what I chose to do. Take your brush, make sure that it is wet. This is going to be the medium round brush. You can see the wet bits on my hand there. With a wet brush, get some white and mix it really well on the side. This is going to be very, very shiny. You could tell how wet it is. And then we're going to take our brush with our finger, and this is going to be messy, and flick your brush. Boom, boom, boom. All the stars, all the speckles. Again, make sure you're not wearing any clothing that you can mess up. Make sure your phone, if you have one, is way far away. You don't want this to make a mess, but it's going to be messy no matter what you do. As you can tell, even when you're flicking your brush, it's not going to be perfect. It's going to leave those extra little streaks. That is perfectly okay. If you don't like it, you can paint over it, but for the most part, I always just leave mine. It makes it more unique in my opinion, and of course, you don't have to do this messy bit either. You can always mix more white if the stars aren't showing up properly. And of course, you see I'm going to have to wash my hands at this point. But we're going to be taking our small round brush and actually going in and hand painting or dabbing the details of bigger stars. So this is just a non-messy way to do stars, but also this helps me go through if there are places that my brush flicking missed and I really want to cover it with stars. So there we are. And that is it. If you managed to get this far, you rock, but don't forget to sign your painting. Take your small brush, sign it wherever at the bottom. If you're really not a fan of signing it on the front, you can always take a Sharpie and sign it on the back. But that is the final product. If you liked this video, please leave a thumbs up, subscribe if you would like notifications on new videos, and of course, share it with me on social media at #AureliaVelTutorial on Instagram. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye!